Well, guys, now for this second part, we are going to talk about two other groups from the vertebrate animals that are, in the first place, the reptiles. The reptiles, like the ones that you see here in these pictures, for example, they are covering in scales. Their bodies are covering in scales or in shells, just like the fishes, and they use those scales or shells to protect from the environment. Also, they are born from eggs like the beautiful turtle that is born in the picture that it's in the center. And also another really important characteristic is that the reptiles can live on the ground or also they can live in the water. This is one specific characteristics of the reptiles, but it's also one from the amphibians. But we are going to see the difference later. Some examples of the reptiles, like the ones that we have here, are the turtles, the crocodiles, some lizards, and the Komodo dragons. These are the last living dragons on Earth. Now, the other group are the amphibians. The amphibians, they doesn't have anything cover their skin, but their skin is thin, 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 and really humid. That means that they need to have the skin like wet, something similar to that, but because it helps them, like says here in the picture of the center, to breathe. The amphibians has these specific characteristics is that they can breathe with three different structures, with gills, with lungs, or also they can breathe through their skin. And one specific characteristic of the amphibians is that they have a transformation throughout their life. For example, in the case of the frog, they begin like eggs, then they transform into a tadpole, then into a metaform, and finally a frog. That's why the amphibians are really different from the reptiles. The reptiles are born and grow, but the amphibians, they change throughout its life, like we see here in this picture. Some examples of the amphibians are this frog, this lizard, and this scaled worm. This worm is really special because their scales are very, very, very thick, and he can live underwater or on the earth like the amphibians. Now, guys, to have a little bit more details about the difference between reptiles and amphibians, let's watch this video.
I'm Julia Gregory, a senior educator at the Tennessee Aquarium, and I've been asked what's the difference between reptiles and amphibians. Well, the easiest way to tell the difference is to look at their skin. If it's not a wild animal, if it's an animal that you can touch, you can feel to see if the animal has scales or doesn't have scales. Reptiles have scales and amphibians do not. Amphibians have a smooth, moist skin. But there's a way we can go a step farther, especially between lizards that are reptiles and salamanders that are amphibians. Sometimes it's hard to tell if you find one in your yard and you don't know which one it is because they all have four legs with little toes and long tails. They're pretty much the same shape. But if you will look on the ends of their toes, lizards, they're reptiles, have little claws. Those are made of the same thing as scales. It's called keratin. It's like your hair and your fingernails. But amphibians can't make keratin, with a few exceptions. So if you look at the ends of the toes and there are no claws, that's going to be a salamander. The other big difference between reptiles and salamanders is what their eggs look like. Reptiles lay an egg with a flexible, leathery shell, and amphibians lay a jelly egg that has to be in water or it will dry up and die.
Well, guys, now it's time for you to practice. Draw in a piece of paper one example of each group of animals and send a short video to your teacher naming the animal you choose. Remember to do it in English. Have fun, guys, and hopefully we'll see you soon. Bye bye.